Welcome everybody to Go Local Live. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. Little news in the morning after the morning e-blast went out. Go Local broke a story about an arrest made over at Governor Gina Raimondo's home on the east side of Providence on Monday. That was related to an individual creating disturbances. State police made that arrest. There was no injuries. That person was arraigned, I believe, at the ACI Intake Center yesterday. That's a new story. Take a look at it. On a brighter note, let's talk about 401 Gives. We've got Cortney Nicolato from the United Way. Cortney, thanks for joining us. It's a big day in Rhode Island.
It is a huge day in Rhode Island. So Josh, thanks for having me, and thank you to Go Local for your support of the day. It's we're really focused on making this the largest statewide giving day in Rhode Island, and so far it's already broke those records.
So let's talk about the premise. The premise was planned far before anyone knew what a coronavirus was. It was a day of giving to support individual nonprofits in a collective effort spearheaded by the United Way. And then lo and behold, we have an economic and a healthcare crisis. Talk about your timing on this one.
Yeah, we started the planning for 401 Gives Day 18 months ago. And really, it was because we saw opportunities to expand the awareness of the great work of the nonprofit sector. That was really our celebration of the nonprofit sector. And our goal was to bring hundreds of nonprofits together to really talk about the fact that 18% of the workforce in Rhode Island is nonprofits. Nonprofits are every day saving lives, changing lives. And really, that was the premise. And then COVID happened. And one of the things that we saw right away, you think about all of our nonprofit organizations who were supposed to have spring fundraisers, who were doing a big spring annual campaign, those all went away. And our nonprofit organizations are the organizations who are stepping up right now and truly changing lives and saving lives for folks either afflicted with COVID or folks who are challenged as a result of COVID. People are losing their jobs. They're going to nonprofit organizations to seek assistance. People are being challenged. People are being nervous, anxious. They're going to nonprofit mental health organizations for support. Nonprofit organizations are in the depths of COVID. And so we said, you know what? This could not come at a better time. Our nonprofit organizations need us. They need this community to step up and support the great work that's happening in the nonprofit sector. So we're really grateful that we've seen exactly that already in the 4 or 5 hours that 401 Gives has already taken place.
So the goal is $1 million today, a big number. And where are we at 11:05 this morning?
At 11:05 this morning, we're right about $550,000 raised for about 330 organizations. And so we're just incredibly grateful for our corporate supporters who have come in. We're grateful for folks like the Rhode Island Foundation who have done a match for the first 50,000. That first 50,000 was matched in 13 minutes. At 6 o'clock this morning. It was pretty amazing. And so, but we know we have more to do. We know we have 1 million. I would love to see 1 million plus raised today. If we think about every Rhode Islander giving $10, $25 to their favorite organization just today, think about how much power we can do to really fuel the need in Rhode Island.
Listen, there's never been greater need in either one of our lives. Numbers coming out of the Department of Labor and Training, our calculations is Rhode Island has now pierced 20% unemployment. Certainly a number that it's even hard to fathom that 1 out of 5 Rhode Islanders have now had to file for unemployment or TDI. The need out there is extraordinary. How do we keep the momentum of the morning continuing throughout the day and into the night?
Yeah, I think really going back to the foundation of what 401 Gives was a celebration. Take a moment to think about the nonprofit organizations that have touched your life, and they have. There is lots of organizations, whether it's a local PTO organization for your child's school, whether it's the home health agency that supports your grandmother or your mother. There are nonprofit organizations interwoven throughout your life. And take a moment, one, to give to that organization, but also take a moment to share why the nonprofit sector is so important to you, or that organization is so important to you. Go to social media, share that with your friends and family, and encourage folks to match your gift. Take time to call nonprofit organizations that are important to you and ask how you can be helpful, even in the midst of this crisis. We have to come together. We are coming together in so many ways as a result of this pandemic, but we have much more to do. And today is about recognizing that and giving as little as $10, $20, $25, or maybe even more if you're able and have the capacity to the nonprofit sector.
We had an editorial this morning really talking about what the opportunity is, what the need is, but also that this is a special time in Rhode Island history, American history, and the globes. The UN made the utterance that this is the most important challenge facing the world since the Second World War. All of us have the utmost respect for what we all call the greatest generation, those who suffered through the Depression and then won World War II to ensure democracy in the free world. This is that special time for us. We could be a great generation across Rhode Island of taking that extra effort. It's not easy for everybody to make that donation right now. Most people's businesses, data came out this morning, 87% of American businesses have been hit and hit hard. It's an unknowing time, but this is an opportunity to sort of be selfless, right?
It is, and it's important to our community. You know, one of the things I love about the greatest generation, as well as generations before us, is that they firmly believe that the neighborhood around them, that the community around them, can only be as strong as everyone in it. Right? It can't be just one person. It can't be just your street. It has to be everyone around you. And so it is our job, and folks have taken this for years and years as this, it is my job to lift the community up around me, right? And there's no better time than now to do that. There is no better time for all of us to do that.
Listen, there were gender differences in the 1940s, but think about it. Pearl Harbor hits. Millions of Americans didn't wait for a draft. They went and joined one branch of the United States military, and women left the home who had never worked outside the home in their entire lives and started building Liberty ships and airplanes to be able to move forward. I think most Rhode Islanders ought to be able to try and look deep and see what they can do today to try and help all Rhode Islanders. Think about the trickle effect that this takes place when you hit that local food pantry or that mental health organization in a time like this.
Yeah, and you think about, I'm so inspired by Rhode Islanders who have stepped up in so many ways. We've had folks that have called United Way and 211 saying, what can I do? How can I help? We have a ton of Rhode Islanders who are sewing face masks. We have a ton of Rhode Islanders who are making phone calls. I've had folks who are retired fundraisers saying, let me know what I can do to help you, right? That's what community is about, in good times and in bad. And so the more that we can do that, man, the better. And I feel like 401 Gives Day is just such a great example of ways that Rhode Islanders can step up and still stay in your pajamas, by the way. You can do it all from home.
Keep sending us the updates as we go along. We're broadcasting all day. Just from a programming note, we've got Dr. Michael Fine at 12. We've got the governor's press conference this afternoon. We also have Ken Doctor, who's really the leading expert on media in America and what the challenges are, especially for the newspaper industry during this period of time. He also writes for the Neiman Lab up at Harvard. And then we've got one of the top physicians at Brown University's Warren Alpert Medical School. He'll be on at 4 o'clock talking about autism and the implications. This is National Autism Month as well, and what the implications are and what the research is behind that. Cortney, last word on this.
401gives.org is the website that you can go to make your gift. We have prizes throughout the day for nonprofit organizations. So Your gift is not too late. There's lots of great other opportunities for nonprofits with your gift. And we go until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if you go to sleep and go, oh, I forgot, wake up in the middle of the night, give that gift. It is okay. You can also check out our social media, which is at 401 Gives on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And thank you, Josh, and thank you, GoLocal, for your unwavering support for this special day.
Absolutely. Encouraging all Rhode Islanders to make that little bit of difference that can go a long way, especially in this very difficult time. Courtney, thanks so much. Everyone else will be back throughout the day. Big news, a news story that seems to move in an amazing ways on a daily basis. And this is probably one of the most positive aspects of this incredible crisis. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you back in a little while.